the main macro is being used with the help of VBA. VBA, that is Visual Basic. Okay, but right now we need to learn this macros without using VBA, because VBA is a complete another coding system. Okay, so it is a basic coding system in which you need to provide the codes, and then you need to implement macros. Macros is nothing but just a recording process. Recording in the sense that if you are doing any formatting, and for that you need to use macros. What basically what does it means? Let's say I need to work on a same format. Okay, let's say I need to work on the same format. For that, so here I have implemented the sheet. I need to fill the same format, make it like I need to maintain the details of the students. So for that I need it here, name, all these things I need. Let's say I need all these things, only these three details. So I'll be here filling. I need it into this format. So what I'll do, I'll first activate macros, and then after that I'll be implementing all this formatting, so that whenever I need to put a new detail of a student, I'll just press that shortcut key, so that this whole formatting will get created automatically. Okay, so for that, first what we need to do, so let's go step by step. So basically first we need to go to the customize the ribbon. For customizing the ribbon, so what we can do, that we can go to the developers key, and then we can add the developers button. So what will happen, look here, we can go to any of this and we can customize the ribbon. So by customizing the ribbon, we can also select what, here you will come to know that there is already a tab, and that is your developer tab. So here in the developer tab, you'll get a number of things. So you'll apply okay. So you just got your developer tab. In developer tab, in the codes, you got what option of macros, Visual Basics, and record macros, use relative references, macro security, all these stuffs. So we have to do, we have to use these tools only. So within these tools, there are only three tools you are going to use. That is the record macros, macro security, and macros. Okay, so what basically does it help? In which way it can help? So whenever you get a macro visual, what is Visual Basic? So this opens a Visual Basic editor. Alternatively, you can use the keyboard shortcut. Now, what basically Visual Basics is? So it is a type of coding you need to use. So here, if you will be using Visual Basic, so it means you need to use your coding system, and then you can plan some editing, so that whenever you'll be implementing that format or implementing that structure, so the whole Excel sheet will be changing according to that factor. But here, as we can't learn this coding, so we will be doing the macros, the same formatting on a normal basis, on just a recording basis. So what we'll do, we'll first start from here, like record macros, then we'll make changes. Like first I have opened this particular sheet, I've started record macros. So I have named it macro 1. Here you can press the shortcut key. So for the shortcut key, I have pressed Control Shift X. Okay. So I have pressed Control Shift X. This will be the shortcut key. Now, where you want to store this? So either you want to store this in this workbook only, or you can use it on person macro workbook, or you can use new workbook. So I just said that I'll use it in a new workbook. Okay, here in the description I put a student details. Okay, I pressed OK. So now in a new workbook, this recording has been started. Okay, so here you can see that it is writing that the macro is currently recording. Okay, so from here what I did, heading details. Now here there is name, file number, email ID, address, subject, date of birth, area, pin code. All these things I have implemented. Okay, and now I needed what? I need this type of format. So I have prepared this format. Okay, now after preparing this format, I can just easily stop this macro. Okay, so I have stopped this macro. I have saved it. I'll be saving this document. So I'll be saving this document. saved it in your folder only. So I'll be saving it. Now you can see that this particular macros is not being saved in a normal Excel sheet. It is being saved in Excel macro enabled workbook. Okay, so it will be saved as macro enabled workbook, means there is some recording that has been done within this particular sheet and that has been saved with the macro, right? Somebody is. So basically here we are discussing about the macros and we have already discussed about conditional formatting. So now macros is just a process file recording. Now what you'll do, you'll press the Control N so that we can have a new worksheet. Let's say I need to implement the same macros on this worksheet. So what can I do? I'll just go to the developer section. I'll just go to the macros. Here I do have one macro, right? So what I'll do, I'll just select it and I'll press run. So when I'll be running this macros now, what will happen? All the editings will be done here and the data will come up in this particular new sheet. Okay, let's see why it is happening. Not working. That is why we are having this issue. Or else normally it happens that either you will be implementing the shortcut key, like we have kept the shortcut key as Control Shift X, right? So either we can press the shortcut key or else we can just go to macros, select the macro which we need to implement, and then we can implement it so that it gets implemented automatically. So now coming to this one, we just need to implement it. Control Shift X we have implemented. Look, this is macro that needs to be run. I don't know why it is not running because we are having some errors. Okay, so let's see if whenever we want to have this, like we have opened any okay, so I have opened an Excel, opened an Excel sheet. Now here I have implemented that Control Shift X. That was the shortcut. So let's do one more try. Make recording the macros. Control Shift X. I have put it this workbook description, student details. I pressed OK. Now I have implemented everything. Like now I just stop the recording. Okay, so now whenever I'll be implementing this shortcut key, so what will happen, that this particular macro will appear automatically. Let's say Control Shift X. So whenever I implemented this Control Shift X, so the same thing is happening. Okay, even if you are Control Shift X. So I'll be implementing this. So in the as per the macros, the complete format, basically what I need. So every time I need this Control Shift X and the whole detail will appear. Okay, now I don't need to write anything. I just have recorded that macro and basically it is recorded or used just for if you need to do the same task every day. Like let's say if you are going for an inquiry. So if there is some institution where there is an inquiry form, every institution has an inquiry form, right? So if you need to print the inquiry form, if it is already in the printed format, then it's fine. But if you have you have to print inquiry form whenever an inquiry comes up. So for that purpose, what you need to do, you just need to keep a recorded macros and then you need to implement it. Okay, so that whenever you want, this particular detail will come up with the same formatting and then you can provide it to the students to provide their details in it. Basically, this is the very simplest format of macros, because getting it into a complex formula, you need to go through that Visual Basic, you need to go through that language, computer language, you need to learn, you need to learn the codings, because after that only, like all these presentations, every single visual can be changed on the basis of codings. Okay, like F11 or F12 is some, like there is some shortcut key on the basis of what this all editing comes up. Like whenever you'll go to this developer form in the Visual Basics, you can see that okay, there are some sheets and on that sheet you can do your job. Like whenever you'll going to, when we got a bug into that macros also, so you must have seen that as the HTML page is designed in the same way everything was written, right? So similarly, you just need to write codes. So for that, you need to learn computer language. Okay, like you can say that you need to learn HTML, Java, and all this to program a better function. This is how the Google pages or the HTML websites are being designed on the basis of the codings. So similarly, here we only need to learn the macros as per our course schedule, because this macro is just for the work if you need to do the same task every day a number of times. That is why you just create a format for that and save it, so that whenever it is required, you don't need to come create the whole format. You don't need to write everything every time. So I'll just do add up a page, and I'll do Control Shift. Okay, we'll get the details. Okay, still till now we are getting some bugs, but still, like, this is the normal way. We can just get a new sheet and just press the shortcut keys, so that we will get the complete formatting along with the data. Okay, the only thing what we'll do, then this I'll get a printout of, and then we'll provide the students to fill their names and all. Right, this is what we learn into macros.